Ariel Helwani in Los Angeles following the UFC on Fox press conference, being joined by UFC CEO Mr. Lorenzo Fertitta. And Lorenzo, congratulations on this huge deal for you guys. I'm wondering, throughout the whole 10-year process of owning the UFC and trying to get it on a mainstream sort of platform, so to speak, how difficult was it to not take the first deal when you saw some of your other competition go on CBS and get some network deals?
Well, we always really felt like we wanted to be on network, and like you said, those other deals just didn't make sense for us, not just financially, but in a lot of different ways. The reason this deal works is because of what you saw here today. It's not just, hey, we're going to throw a fight up on Fox and see if it works. This is a 7-year commitment at every level, broadcast, cable on a channel that is, like I said in the press conference, my favorite channel. It's in over 100 million homes, definitely at the front edge of new original programming. Now FX is also not only going to have the UFC, but they got Pac-10 football, Big 12 football. So now they're jumping into the sports area in a big way. And then also having shoulder programming on Fuel, and then count all the RSNs. So it's not just about this is a broadcast deal. This is a major media deal at every level throughout the spectrum.
Is it fair to say that this legitimizes the UFC?
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say. I mean, when you have the biggest sports broadcaster, biggest sports media company in America coming to the UFC saying, now, we're not just going to put you on, we're going to embrace you as part of our family. We're going to treat you exactly like we treat the NFL, college sports, Major League Baseball. Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal.
How close were you to going with Comcast?
You know what? We were close. We talked to all the major media companies. We had some great talks with those guys. They've got great assets, super smart. At the end of the day, Fox just felt like the right deal for us.
In terms of television history, more specifically when it comes to sports, we don't often see a group announce a deal when they're still a part of another television network. And now you've got The Ultimate Fighter coming up on Spike. You've got a UFC show on Spike in November. How's that going to work? Because obviously you're moving on, but you're still with your old partners.
It's been a real cordial situation. Let me tell you what a run it had been over the last 7 years with the UFC, for the UFC and for Spike. I mean, this relationship really benefited both of us. The reality is, though, that come December 31st at 12 o'clock, there's no more UFC original programming on Spike. So at some point, we had to figure out where our home's going to be, because you can't just turn it on a dime. We wanted to hit the ground running in 2012, with a lot of momentum and a whole game plan going forward. So, of course, we were going to have to come out and tell people where we were going to be.
We talked to Dana. He said it wasn't really, Doug Herzog or Kevin Kay at Spike that wanted to sort of walk away from this relationship. It was maybe people above them. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Look, I don't want to speculate. You never really know. I know that our dealings with Kevin and with Doug have always been great. They've really supported us all the way through. I think they appreciated the property. They liked the property. I think they wanted the property. For whatever reason, it just didn't fit for Viacom. So I don't want to speculate why. It's just, not to say that they were at the table. It's not that they didn't want it. It's just that they were not able to provide the different elements that we thought we needed to take our business to the next level. And really what it came down to, it wasn't a money issue, it was a number of fights issue. We have to grow our business. We need more fights. We need more programming. We've got more weight classes and more fighters. We got fights that we need to do from an international standpoint. So when you have one channel that you're broadcast on, one channel can only take so much programming, right? Now, with what I explained here, we're on Fox Broadcast, FX, Fuel, all the RSNs. So it opens up a number of pipes for us to be able to provide original programming and live fights. That's really what the issue was.
There has been some talk that Spike will remain in the MMA business and potentially go with someone like Bellator. Have you heard that? And if so, what do you make of that?
That's the, I think, natural assumption that should be made, because Bellator already has a relationship with Viacom. But I think they will. I think they'll be a great competitor. They've already proven that you can build a brand on Spike. There's no question about it. They're formidable. They know what they're doing. But it could be with Bellator. It could be with Pro Elite, who's now coming up. It could be with Shark Fights, who's had some success on TV and done some ratings. Or maybe it's with multiples. I don't know what their strategy is going to be. But they've made it clear to us that, yeah, they are going to be competing with us.
When the SBJ article came out, it had said that Spike is able to air UFC programming, not live, but maybe tape stuff all next year. Is that true?
They have a tail for a year, where anything that's had already aired on Spike, they can air it for 1 year later.
Now, could that make for an awkward situation where they're using UFC programming to then sort of promote their new league that they're now promoting?
I suppose so, but hey.
Does that bother you?
We'll see what happens. I'm not sure that they can actually use our programming as a lead into another MMA company. I'm not sure about that. But hey, look, competition's great. We love to compete. We wake up every morning. That's all we think about. And it's good. I mean, I hope these guys step up and come up with a creative idea and challenge us. I think it'd be good.
And finally, is there anything about this deal, you look at the deal, you look at all the terms, you say, we got it all? Or is there something that you were kind of fighting for that you didn't get? Or is it the perfect deal?
No, there's no perfect deal. The perfect deal is when both sides aren't 100% happy. You know what I mean? But happy enough to want to do the deal. I think this is clearly a win-win for both of us. I think what Fox brings to us is obvious. This is going to take the exposure for the UFC and the sport of mixed martial arts to the next level. What we bring to Fox is literally, that question came in from the Houston, maybe, I can't remember, it was New York Times or somebody asking David Hill, like, well, why would you guys say this is like one of the biggest announcements you made in 17 years? Let me tell you what, Fox just got a sports property that is going to be the biggest sport on the planet, right? It literally is going to be the biggest franchise on the planet. And we tell the story all the time. The NFL doesn't work outside of the United States. FIFA has problems with all of the corruption and everything that's coming out. There's corruption in cricket, and cricket doesn't work in other countries. This is the only sports property that is pure and works literally around the entire world. And I try to explain, because I think there's still some people out there here in the U.S. on the reporting side that just don't get the magnitude of what's going on here. I mean, obviously, this is big for the male demographic, 18 to 35, people in the know, that generation. But a lot of people don't know we're going to go down to Brazil next week and literally take over that country. There are signs in the airport in Brazil that say 2011 UFC, 2014 World Cup, 2016 Olympics. They're putting us in the same framework as the World Cup and the Olympics, and you know how big that's going to be in Brazil. We're taking over the country. The city of Rio is sponsoring the event, and we're expecting 30, 40 million people, maybe more. I mean, we're being conservative. They're going to watch Anderson Silva defend his title against Yushin Okami. I don't think people get that here in the U.S. because we haven't been on that broadcast platform here in the U.S. to really show what we can do.
Well, congratulations, a huge deal and a huge moment for the UFC. We wish you nothing but the best of luck, and again, congratulations.
Thanks, man.